I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning, everybody. Oh, happy Sixer Wednesday to all across the Delaware Valley. Anthony Gargano Show, presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY or stop at your local branch. Learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. Well, play it! Yeah! Play the song! Oh, wait, I keep saying that, and we're not allowed. Sing it! JP, sing the song!
¡Vámonos! ¡Aplaudan las manos! Todo el mundo para Filadelfia. 76ers, pisar tus pies. Todo el mundo para Filadelfia. 76ers, let's go!
Way to go, JP.
How about
John
that?
Zapata. I love it. That's going to be good luck. And listen, last night, so much to talk about off the Sixers. I know it's Detroit. I know it's lowly Pistons. But Joel, 36 minutes last night. Huge, 12 for 22 from the field. He had 4 threes, 37 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists without Tyrese. Tyrese gets the night off. But it was, more importantly, the big man giving you 36 minutes. It's the most he's played since he's been back. He looked great. You could see slowly he's getting his wind back. And it was interesting because the other day we were talking to Keith Pompey from the Inquirer, and Keith said, and he just kind of slipped it in there, he's the best player in the league. And he is. Embiid is the best player in the league. And you saw it again last night, just effortless. The numbers are eye-popping. Like, when you look at the box score of his performance, like the numbers are in neon. 8 assists, right? 11 boards, 4 threes, 37 points in 36 minutes. Like, these are just eye-popping numbers. So, it really wasn't the win that we're excited about it, because you kind of knew that they were going to beat Detroit even without Tyrese. The other piece of it, and I'm quick to not take glee into injuries. I don't like to do that. But it is part of the game, and it's a huge part of NBA playoff spring. Who's there, who's not? Let's face it. Embiid has had his share of injuries. Last night in Milwaukee, Giannis, he leaves the game, non-contact injury. It's a calf strain, according to Shams. He's going to be out, at least 1 to 2 weeks. He'll be reevaluated. It was feared that it could have been the Achilles. And as someone who has torn his Achilles, that thing is scary as all get out. Achilles tendonitis, calf tendonitis, it's all scary, especially when you're an elite athlete like Giannis, who in basketball, the explosion that you do on every movement. So that's a big deal. The Bucks already reeling, the Doc effect in full effect. And so Milwaukee right now looks mighty, mighty vulnerable. Now, the Sixers could play them. They could also get the 6th seed, but the Sixers could play them in a couple of weeks. And Giannis being hampered is a big deal, a monster deal. And you got that vibe, isn't it? Don't you have that feeling that the Sixers are going to make a run? That maybe in the year that we least expect it, and that always happens. When you least expect it is when you get kind of what you're wishing, what you're hoping for, and that is to at least start getting out of the second round. We'll worry about Boston later, but to get out of the second round would be a big deal. And then you have momentum. And the other aspect is, and I take no glee in the Giannis thing, but we've seen it. We've seen the playoffs. Teams get derailed by injuries. It's a long season. It's when everything gets turned up, intensity's turned up. So, anything could happen. And that's a big part of, we've seen it time and time again when guys go down and all of a sudden, you go, oh my God, look how it's playing out. They have a free kind of road right to the championship game or the conference finals or the NBA finals. So you want to be healthy and you want to be playing good ball. Sixers right now, they look pretty dangerous. So very excited. Last night in St. Louis, Phils go down. Freaking Sonny Gray. Mr. Gray. Are you kidding me? They can't hit Mr. Gray. They can't hit Sonny Gray. They never can hit Sonny Gray. He befuddles them. It's a shame because Wheeler is his usual dependable self. Bats are quiet. They end the series in St. Louis today with Nola on the mound. So you got Nola today against that Lance Lynn. We'll be talking to Jim Salsbury coming up in just about 15 minutes to talk Phillies and to talk some exciting news with Jim, because I love Jim Salsbury. I've known Jim for a long time. We worked together in other stops. We were in New York together. And I'm very happy that Jim will be a contributor here at PHLY. So I'm excited about that. We'll talk to Jim coming up in a little bit. Last night, it got ugly. Very, very ugly with the Flyers. Yes, in Montreal. Les Habitants, not a good team. And it was 1-0, and then it was 5-0, and then it was kaput. 9-3. They give up 3 field goals. Unbelievable. They get just pasted last night. It's a shame, right? Because we've seen the Flyers kind of just wilt, disintegrate before our eyes. And I know all of us were wondering, how would Torts be in the news conference after the game? All of a sudden, last night I got a text from my man Tooch, who said, Torts out, right? Out. I think about the cavalcade of coaches that have come through here. I don't know what it is about the NHL and coaches and the just carousel, one after another, after another, after another. Now, I think we all agreed that Tortorella was an odd signing for a team that's going into a rebuild. Tortorella always seems like, obviously, right? We know his MO. It's 3 years, 3 seasons. He's going to run you hard. Players are going to thrive, and then they're going to grow into resentment, and then they're going to kind of quit. And isn't that kind of what took place last night? So we're all wondering, hey, what would Torts be after the game last night? He was subdued, Torts. Take a listen.
So you're banging right there on the door in the second until the wave kind of comes through there. It seems like the guys were certainly not happy with their overall defensive play. Is that kind of where it was for you too?
I thought we, after giving up an early one in the first, I thought we settled the game down, found a way to get playing. Can't score at a key time to try to even it up. Then it just, the wheels come off. After they score their second, the wheels come off.
What do you think kind of led to that happening? Is defensive zone breakdowns? Is it not finishing?
There are so many different things that happen in the game. Yeah.
I guess it's just the nature of hockey that bounces sometimes don't go your way, and it seems like everything isn't going this team's way right now, and they're just trying to fight through it as best they can.
Yeah, I know you can say that, but we made a lot of mistakes tonight. Turnovers, coverages, any part of the game, there were mistakes, and really, for the most part, it's uncharacteristic of the club. And even though when we've been going through the losing here, the last couple of games, Columbus and here, we've done some things that we haven't done for a lot of the year. And so you got to eat it, and we got to stay together and try to solve things. Whether it's enough time to do what we want to do to try to get in, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about just being pros, trying to get some of our dignity back, and just playing the right way. I think that's the most important part that we've got to stay together with.
Dignity, he said it. You could see he was very subdued. He he was almost apologetic in a lot of ways. I mean, look, they are what they are. We've talked about this really all season, and then we all got our hopes up for this kind of playoff run. But whether it's run out of gas, whether it's the coach worn thin, whatever it is, they're not good enough. They don't have the top line. But it's just the ugly nature, and it's a shame because I don't want that to put a pall on where they are because I like where they are. I think this is what I wanted. I wanted to redo it, to retool it, to rebuild it. Now, obviously Buffalo and then Columbus and then last night Montreal, they just get pasted 1, 2, 3. The other piece of it too is, the other aspect is you look at the goaltending. The Carter Hart situation completely also contributed to derail this whole thing. And then you just see it. Ersan ran out of gas. Fedotov, the Russian freighters. Again at this point, he's got to be developed. So there's a lot of work to do with them. It's gotten ugly. One of the great things that we have seen was Fletcher Cox yesterday. He said goodbye to the Eagles, right? And one of the great Philadelphians, Fletcher Cox, one of the great athletes that have gone through here. It was interesting that I thought that we really got to know him in his final press conference. He was terrific here with us on the PHLY Eagles show. And yesterday, with all his people, he showed a glimpse into what he meant, what the Eagles meant to him. And he was a great, great player. And in fact, I thought he had one of his best seasons in the last 4 last year. So yesterday, we say goodbye to Fletch. Here he is.
This decision was not easy. And I knew at some point in my career it was time for me to retire from the NFL. Is obviously the reason that I'm here today. It comes with a lot of emotions. This game is mentally and physically can take a toll on you. And, I've enjoyed it at the highest level. I've been at the highest levels. And at that point, I feel like that I've gave this game all I could give. The game is given to me back. I've been part of the highs, I've been part of the lows in this league, and I've enjoyed it all.
All right, there was Fletcher Cox as we said goodbye to Fletch. Well, I'll tell you, it was a wild sports night last night. This is this time of the year, man. Spring is it. JP, wow. Sixers start with the big news of Giannis going down. And by the way, that was our morning column was popping off. Of course, is brought to you by Olipop. All right, Olipop is awesome. Always love popping off with Olipop. Take your nearest flavor. Check it out. Your nearest Wawa. So the Giannis, the Sixers have hope.
They do.
And just the way they're playing. Look, I think they have hope. Giannis, healthy or not,
yeah,
I think that they have hope. Just, with Embiid back, the whole thing. I love kind of where they're at right now.
I'm with you. Like, so for me, like, I can't rejoice over injuries, right? But let's state,
That's a violation.
yeah, let's state the obvious, though. The Bucks without Giannis aren't the same team. But like I said before, Doc Rivers is the one thing that doesn't make me scared of the Milwaukee Bucks. But when you watch
that and their defense.
Well, yeah, that too.
I mean, they just played no defense. Actually, like, even with Giannis, I like the Sixers.
I love this matchup.
Giannis, I think the Sixers win that series. I know Legs feels like that. We'll talk to Legs tomorrow. I think the way they're playing, they're playing hot. You got Embiid back, the whole thing. And now the Giannis thing just kind of muddies it even more, obviously.
But like, we can dissect like any potential matchup here, but the one thing that we've done over the past couple of years is we've drawn up like the easiest route for the Sixers to get to the finals, and what has that gotten us? So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter who the Sixers are going to play in the playoffs. They have to take care of business, because if they're playing like this, where Joel is this lead anchor, I mean, look, even like Buddy Hield had a great night last night. It was great seeing D'Anthony Melton back in that lineup as well. When you have these role players and Maxey playing as that second fiddle too, I mean, the sky's the limit for this Sixers team. I'm getting juiced.
It's time to get excited. Yeah. No, it really is. It's something exciting. I know I'm the boy that cried wolf, because I cry wolf every spring, right? Like, I'm always like, oh boy, it's going to be incredible. I'm freaking out. Because I love it. And one of these springs, they're going to break through. I know they're going to break through. It's going to happen. And I don't know. I mean, I know how good Boston is, but hey, let's go on a run. All right,
sports gods owe us.
Like really, seriously, let's go on a run. Let's enjoy a spring. Right? There's nothing better than playoff. When you're talking about playoff basketball or playoff hockey, and you're into the series, and all right, you have something to do. You build your calendar around it. All right, you got game 1 on Tuesday, game 2 on Thursday, and you're playing your night. You're watching with your buddies. You're hanging out. Like, that's what we like. That's how we celebrate these playoff moments in Philadelphia like that.
Yeah, I love walking down Arch Street in Old City, seeing Humphrey's flag store with a big Sixers banner there. This town is awesome when Sixers basketball is in play.
Well, yeah, in playoffs, right? Like, we see with the Phillies and, the whole thing, and someday Flyers. I mean, that was ugly last night.
So
that's your beat.
So did the Flyers? So are we sacrificing the Flyers for Sixers success here?
So I'm not a big Sophie's Choice person. I always hate when I get those questions. That was a big sports talk radio thing. Like, would you sacrifice? I'll never forget. For one Super Bowl, before the Eagles won the Super Bowl, we used to have this conversation like 3 times a year. And it was, would you sacrifice all the other teams for 10 years to get one Super Bowl? Would you sign it? And I would always talk about the devil coming knocking on your door. JP.
It feels like it's happening, though, honestly.
Would you like to do that? Now, I mean, ultimately, listen, the Flyers aren't really a sacrifice. The Flyers aren't going to do anything. Like, you knew they're not a Stanley Cup contender. They're not good. They were just overachievers. And listen, I wanted a taste of the playoffs. I get swept up in it. But I'm fine with the rebuild.
Cause I hear you, but the thing is this team for 3 months was in a playoff spot. They were in a solid playoff spot in a Metropolitan Division that's never easy. And before this stretch where they playing Montreal, Chicago, the Islanders, they played the best of the best in the Eastern Conference, and they stood toe to toe with a lot of these hockey teams. And for them to just fall apart in this stretch, to go on an 8-game losing streak in this stretch, that's why everyone's so frustrated. Like, I think everyone can get over the fact that they didn't make the playoffs. But to not make the playoffs like this, to get embarrassed like that, 9-3 to Montreal.
Listen, it's been ugly. Like, I'm not sugarcoating it. It's been ugly. And you know that Torts is going to take the fall. Tortorella's not coming back.
That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
There was already rumors and whispers that, maybe he wants to go upstairs and wants to help out. Like, again, look at somebody else. What they need to do is get a coach that, and I never understood this, the coach that has some staying power. Like, why is it that NHL coaches flame out so quickly?
It's the nature of that business. And you look at all these NHL coaches, like, it's the same retread guys. These guys just go from team. Look at the Rangers and Flyers. They got Laviolette and we got Torts.
I never got rid of Laviolette. And he's made the rounds through whatever. He's made the rounds all over the place. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God.
That was just heartbreaking.
Is Fletcher Cox a top 10 Eagle last 20 years?
We're going to have to do this list, but, I mean, he definitely has all the credentials to be in that top 10 list. I mean, when you talk about, the big one, he brought a Super Bowl. He was part of that Super Bowl team.
Yes, he was.
That's definitely the big one. He's got the stats. He's got the impact.
I mean, obviously, you got Doc, right? If you're going to go since 2000, you start any of these lists with Doc. You got West, you got Donovan, you got Hugh, you got all. You got a lot of
Kelsey
guys
in there now too.
Oh, Kelsey's right up there. I'm just spitting
throwing out names. Yeah, we're gonna do this list.
But Fletch has to be somewhere in the top 10 of the top 10 Eagles last 20 years.
I mean, he's been the face of the defense for over a decade. We had some really good defenses too in this.
He was early on,
oh my God,
he was a dominant player, a great player.
8+ years, he was taking on double teams every single game.
I know.
It
was huge.
Pro Bowler.
It was huge.
Yeah, that's like him, Kelsey, like that's Eagles football that a lot of us grew up with a lot.
All right, well, work on that list, VG.
We're gonna do
all
that.
All right, I like to do that. Going to work on that list.
All Eagles.
So here's what's coming on. Right, here's what we got today, JP.
Let's do it.
So Jim Salsbury will join us coming up in a couple of minutes to talk Phillies, and I want to talk some baseball too because the rash of arm injuries and people are talking about the pitch clock. I want to run that by Jim. Also, the Orioles called up the number 1 prospect in baseball. All right, Jackson Holiday. That's a baseball name.
That is a good baseball.
Shortstop. I think. So we in my youth baseball, because I've been around youth baseball for the last few years with Massimo. There's like 3 or 4 Jacksons, and the Jackson could always play. Like if the kid's first name's Jackson, for some reason the kid is a player. So we'll talk to Jim about that. Coming up, we'll have the big brain for the daily grind. We love that.
Yeah, I can't wait. Make some money.
Yeah, so we'll have the daily grind with the big brain. And at 9 o'clock, Baldy.
Let's go.
Baldy. And today with Baldy, what we're going to do, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Thanks, Andrew. I'm still getting used to time.
I'm here for you.
Thanks, Andrew. At 10 o'clock, Baldy, if it was 9 o'clock, we have to go back in time. We'll get our astrophysicist to help us. So 10 o'clock, Baldy, and we're going to go over the difference makers on defense in this year's draft.
I can't wait.
All right. So we're going to kind of geek out. We'll nerd out with the draft. And also, in honor of John Rahm, who had his master's dinner last night, and it had a Spanish flavor from the Basque region of Spain. Of course, Baldy has been in Spain.
Oh, of course.
And he has run with the Bulls.
He's been with the Españoles.
So we will talk to Baldy and run with the Bulls with Baldy.
Oh, my God.
All right?
I can't
Sounds
wait.
like a
That's
good
going to
time.
happen as well. Fiji, throw me one of those hoagies. So look who, and this was something, right? So this was something that always made everybody's day, because I've been doing this forever, right? So I'm one of the Primos. They're my family. I love them, right? We go way back. Big Nick, right? Little Nick and Eric, I love those people. They're like family to me, and so we've been doing this forever. So you guys have been working so hard, and I'm like, we got to get them a treat.
You're the best.
So is there any better treat than a Primo hoagie?
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
So there's Primos for you guys. And I know it makes everybody smile.
Oh, of
All
course.
right? That's the impact of the Primo hoagie. So everybody, I got everybody's order.
I'm smiling right now.
I know you are. I sent it to Eric.
My mouth is watering right now.
I sent it to Eric. I was like, dude, do me a favor. Feed the crew tomorrow, would you?
Absolutely.
It'll be good. All right. You're going to tell us about bagels and cups. Speaking of food, how about some bagel action?
So we got our lunch taken care of, so thank you to Primos. But
what about breakfast?
Let's take care of your breakfast, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we got Bagels & Co. Brooklyn-style bagels, but they are made with that Philadelphia love. And, of course, guys, look, with this inflationary day that we're living in, they have us hooked up because not only are these bagels huge, so you get the bang for your buck, but also they are affordable. Not only the bagels, but the coffee as well. No longer the $7 cups of Joe. You get that $3 cup of Joe. Save a little bit there, guys. And, of course, it is extremely tasty, and they have a large variety to select from every single day. 15 to 20 different types of bagels to select from. And with that, you need a large variety of cream cheese and schmears, 30 different types to select from as well. And like I said, affordable prices, ladies and gentlemen. So what are you waiting for? Get your breakfast right now. Head on over to thebagelsandco.com/store locator to find your local Bagels & Co. here today. Thank you to our friends at Bagels & Co.
All right, JP, I want to tell you about our other friends, TrueMark Financial Credit Union. All right, look, you got to get to know the credit union difference because it's a stark difference and it's very beneficial. TrueMark Financial, you become part owner with a credit union, which means profits come back to you instead of going to shareholders. That's right. You also get better rates, lower fees, a better return on savings, and more flexible options with all the same digital tools and tech that we all crave that make our lives easier. So you think, well, credit union, is it like old school? No, they have all the tech you need, right? All the digital banking tools that you want, that you crave. Here's the thing about the credit union. It's local. Local. And we've always thought about local. It's one of my it's one of my tenets for years and years and years. And TrueMark has local roots, headquartered in Fort Washington. They have 24 branches in the Philadelphia area. They serve our community and our people right here, right at home. In fact, the CEO, Kelly Body, I know she's probably a primo girl because she said she's a disappointment to her grandmother, to her Nona, because Kelly can't cook. And she's only a CEO and an attorney. So her grandmother is upset that she can't cook. And she's like, well, no, I'm a CEO and a lawyer. So, but she's one of us. Like, that's why I love her. She loves, 4 for 4, the whole thing. Becoming a member of a credit union, so many benefits over being a customer at a bank. It's just a no-brainer. Head over to TrueMark.com, TrueMark, TrueMark.com/PHLY to learn more and find a branch near you. TrueMark.com/PHLY, federally insured by the NCUA. All right. Now, I'm super excited because our next guest will be a regular. And he's one of the best. When we talk about covering baseball in Philadelphia, covering baseball nationwide, it doesn't get better than Jim Salsbury. Good morning, Jimmy. So, Jimmy, can I just say thank you to start our conversation?
For what?
For being a contributor here at PHLY. You're going to have regular appearances, and I love you and I love your work, and we have a long-standing friendship. We have worked together in now this will be 3 different places. So I'm thrilled.
Yeah, I'm going to do some work for you guys. I'm really appreciative to you and Vince for the opportunity, and come off the bench a little bit and little ML Carr action. I'm showing my New England roots, ML Carr, 6th man, but happy to you guys have put together a lot of talent, a lot of energy, and I'm really excited to do a little writing and occasionally put my ugly mug on the screen.
You're the best, buddy. So let's talk Phillies. Last night, just kind of run into that Sonny Gray. For some reason, Sonny Gray befuddles them.
I love Sonny Gray. You know why? That kid has got, he's got cojones. He's been a tough gamer since he broke in with the A's coming out of Vanderbilt. He threw harder when he was younger. He's had some issues, but he just knows how to pitch. And he's a real gamer. He was coming back last night. It was his first start, so they were watching his pitch count. But you're right. He befuddled him a little bit, and sometimes that's not hard to do when the Phillies are scuffling for runs as they are now. Boy, that was a tough game last night. They left a whole bunch of runners on base. They had some threats, 3 double plays, 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. It just seems like the last decade, you just look up on certain nights and they're 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, 0 for 7, 1 for 11. It's when you get the big hit. You got to get that big hit with runners on base. And they've struggled to do that. I mean, that said, it's an awfully long
especially in
season.
April and May. Like,
Yeah.
you go back. It's uncanny, Jim. April and May. Always.
I just wonder if they come out of spring training and, you're down there and you're working on certain things. And this year they're working on not chasing, because the whole world saw it last year against the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. They get eliminated because they're swinging at a lot of pitches out of the zone. Well, guess what? They did that all year. And they've done that for several years because of the nature of their team. It was just really magnified in the postseason. There's those pockets when they do that, and they're quote unquote an easy out. But there's other times when they're right on it, when they're selective and they're right on it and they're hitting the ball hard and they're putting up runs. So I tend to have faith in this offense. It's a small sample size. I mean, they were 4th in the league in runs last year. They're bringing back pretty much the same cast of characters. I think they're going to hit. I just think they're caught in the middle right now. I think I believe when you think too much, be it on the foul line, be it in the tee box, and be it in the batter's box, I think when you think too much, think long, think wrong. And I think they're coming out of spring training where they stress so much, don't chase, don't chase, don't chase.
Yeah.
The wheels are turning. And maybe they're not chasing as much, but they're not pounding the ball. I mean, I was looking at slugging percentages today, and they're way down on that roster and on the team as a whole. So I think once they get back to kind of reacting in the batter's box and using that bat head like a weapon, you'll see some things that make you happy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you saw it, like really, even over the weekend. I mean, in Washington, they had chances to bust open Friday night's game, bust open Saturday night's game, and you could see it. I think you're spot on. And the other thing, too, is, I mean, this is a fastball hitting team. This is a power team. This is a team that's very dependent on the weather. I mean, that's a part of it.
No question. It's not fun to hit when it's, gusting and it's the rain is coming down sideways, although Harper certainly did a pretty good job hitting 3 home runs through the rain the other night. But the weather's going to get better here. And I do think, just right. I think sometimes the key to an offense is getting multiples hot at one time. You can get 3 guys going pretty good at the same time and 2 others like kind of emerging. That's when you get something. So I still, they got to get Wheeler some run support. That's, they haven't won a Wheeler start, and he's been good.
He's been very good. Typical Wheeler. You're spot on.
He gave up 3 runs last night. Okay, sometimes he's going to give up 3 runs. It's still damn good. You got to get him some runs. I look at, you got to win the ball games when your ace is on the mound. Last year, and it's a little topical, but last year the Braves were 26-6 when Spencer Strider pitched. That's what you do. I mean, I know he's great and they were getting on his back, but 26-6 when he was like, you got to cash in when your big dog is on the mound.
It's 9:30 on the Anthony Gargano Show, and this portion of the program is brought to you by the Bet Parks Sportsbook app. You like to bet Parks. You brought up Strider, and obviously that was the big story over the whole week. And the news about Strider. First, let's talk about what it does to Atlanta, obviously. And then I want to get into the arm thing because there's a lot of theories as to why all the elbow issues.
Well, it would be like any other team losing their number one. And sometimes I think we throw around that description too much. This guy's an ace. This guy's a number one. I tend to think there are probably fewer of those than we actually believe. Well, not that guy. He is a legitimate number one, a legitimate ace, a legitimate backbone of a pitching staff. I mean, last 2 years, number one in the majors in strikeouts the last 2 years, and spent part of that time as a reliever. So it's a loss for them, but it's a loss. I think, they're a very good organization top to bottom. I mean, few do it better than the Braves when it comes to, player procurement, scouting, developing, always winning at the big league level, which is the most important thing.
Back to
They've been doing it for a generation.
Yeah.
So I think, they'll be very professional in filling that hole. I think we'll hear some more maybe today, whether he's going to have the surgery. All indications are he's going to need it. Very hard to rehab that injury, and he already had the surgery once, but it's hard to rehab that injury, especially when you're exerting so much force like he does, putting so much strain on that elbow. And that's probably there's a lot of theory, a lot of debate, argument even about what's causing the rash of arm injuries. I'm no scientist, but I've seen a lot of baseball. I've talked to a lot of pitchers, been around the game for a long time. It just seems like the art of pitching, the art of moving the ball, changing speeds, that's all changed and been kind of supplanted by the desire to fire. Fire.
Yep.
Fire up in the zone, blow it by people. The thirst and the intoxication with velo and power, and the new training methods where you can increase your velocity, develop your velocity, push your body to limits it's never been before to create that velocity and that spin. I think that puts a lot of strain on fragile body parts. Fragile, right
Yep.
there.
That's
Fragile,
right.
the elbow. Maybe the most fragile, other than the noodle.
Yeah.
Maybe the most fragile body part in sports. The noodle number one and the elbow number two. I don't know.
No, you're right on.
And
this noodle's always fragile. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, hey, we've learned a lot about that too in recent years. But so I just think the temptation and the desire and the need to throw harder, because I'm not going to make the team if I don't light up that radar gun. I'm not going to make this showcase if I don't light up that radar gun.
Dude, I know. Yep.
I'm not going to get a college scholarship and get a scout to come watch me if I don't light up that radar gun. They're not coming out there to see, cunny thumbers. They're coming out, boom. And I just think the desire for power, we see it in all sports. I mean, look at the PGA Tour. They're talking about dumbing down the ball now. They're moving the tees back everywhere because there's so much power and we know how to develop it and train for it. And these guys are elite athletes. So you put those characteristics, elite athletes with drive and desire, and then you add technology and wow, you can really build a beast. But the fact of the matter is, and hitting is the same way. The desire for power is seen all over hitting and the strokes these guys take. That's why I like Alec Boehm. I really like Alec Boehm. He seems to have always resisted the temptation to lift the ball. He's a little bit inside out, line drive approach. I think he's going to get better. I'm an Alec Boehm fan.
And I am too. And he's got great plate coverage. One of the things,
and he really hits with runners on base.
Yes, he's always making contact. He's got great plate coverage. He never. You're right. He never elevates. It's a beautiful approach, and he's so big, right, that the power is going to just come naturally with him. He doesn't need to torque it.
When you see it, like he hit that home run in the game 7 of the NLCS, he really used the bat head. I mean, there's times when he gets the bat head out and that ball just jumps, but other times that line drive approach. But I think the rash of injuries is from the temptation and the training to throw harder and harder and harder, and the de-emphasis on the art of pitching, and the emphasis on power, and the emphasis on swing and miss. And there's so much to that. The pitcher feels pressure to create swing and miss because the ball's harder and the bat is harder. And when they make contact, it goes farther and it does more dangerous things. So I think it's technology and the temptation to throw harder, and the human body can only endure so much. You can only endure so much stress on that elbow, and that's why we're seeing these breakdowns. I don't think it has anything to do with the pitch clock, but hey, some of the guys that pitch do. They were raised.
That's an
athletic
interesting
era. Guys are thinking.
No, go ahead, Jimmy.
I was saying in the analytics era, there's so much information in these guys' heads on the mound and in the batter's box. You can see the game almost slowing down because they're processing. Where in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, they were getting the ball, throwing the ball. I mean, Cliff Lee not long ago was to get the ball, throw the ball. He wasn't really. So I don't know that it's the pitch clock, but I mean, hey, there are experts out there who believe it is. I just think it's guys are throwing harder and harder and harder and putting more and more stress on those body parts that, weren't meant to hold up. And something's got to be done about it, because you need Garrett Cole is down, Strider's down, Shane Bieber's down. That's not good for your game. Andrew Painter's down in the Phillies, though I think that's maybe a little different. That seems like it was a little more acute. But it's troubling, because, you love baseball and you love gifted, talented players, and you want to see them out there, not on the sidelines. And, the investments these owners make in pitching is massive.
Well,
and now they're picking 5 and 6 innings, and they're going to the bench, going to the shower, or they're on the IL. It's there's I think there's the ways that they're conditioning pitchers in the minor leagues to, pitch 5 innings and then, move on, or, move out of the game, hand off to the bullpen. I don't know if they're developing enough of a workload in the minor leagues when they come here, and now the temptation is to throw harder, and eventually a guy breaks down. So I don't know anybody has all the real answers, but it's troubling. And, you'd like to see the art of pitching come back. There will still be pitching injuries because it's a fragile, the fragility of the pitching arm, but there might not be as many of them, and guys might not be, blowing out just by trying to blow fastballs.
Well, you can draw the parallel. We're talking about injuries, the big story of the day, presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out truemark.com/PHLY. One of the other things, too, they're like quarterbacks. Like, you need them in the game. You could draw the parallel because you go out to see a guy like Strider pitch. You go out to see Wheeler, Shane Bieber. Like, these dudes, like, you want to go out and watch them pitch. They're important for the game. I'll never forget, it was like you would check, hey, when I was a kid, Carlton's on the mound. Hey, let's go. And that was the vet. You could get a ticket game day, and you would go down because it was Carlton versus John Candelaria.
Oh, boy. Those are some names. A couple of big sweepers. You had Candelaria throwing that sweeper and Lefty with that back foot slider. Man, those were but yeah, you do have to keep your marquee talent on the field. It's like any sport. They need to be on the ice. They need to be on the court. I mean, that's what's such a bummer, I think, for the fans about load management mostly in the NBA is, a matter of fact, I just had it last week. My daughter went to the Oklahoma City game with a friend who's an Oklahoma City fan, and they were resting their top 2 guys. And you want to see, but you want to see the best because they come into town once or twice a year. You're plunking down hard-earned money, and then they don't play that night. I mean, I feel like if you have a uniform on, you should be out there. But there's so much science and smart people telling you this is the right thing. I guess it's the right thing, but
I know, dude.
At least with the power arm, at least with the power arms and the desire for power at the plate, we're seeing so many more, so much more swing and miss, and strikeouts are acceptable and part of the game. And okay, and now we have a lot of arm injuries, and James Andrews is getting very richer.
That's right, the doctor. Hey, last thing, and I'm fascinated. The one thing, the beauty of baseball is the prospect, right? The phenom. And the Orioles today calling up Jackson Holiday, which is a great baseball name, shortstop. And then I'm around all the youth baseball. Every kid named Jackson somehow can play, and they all play shortstop. Tell me about Jackson Holiday.
Well, his dad was a great player.
Yep.
And his uncle is a great coach in Oklahoma. So it's a real big baseball family. But, Matt Holliday I think he was the runner-up for the MVP in 2007 behind Jimmy Rollins.
Yes.
He had a great year that year, and Jimmy had a great year. And David Wright had a great year. Chase Utley had a great year. I remember that year well. But, yeah, Matt Holliday, a great hitter, finished with the Cardinals, great career. And this is his son. He hits left-handed. I've never seen him in person, but I've seen a lot of video of him. And just a smooth, sweet swing. Played a little bit. He's 20 years old, by the way. He's 20. He played a little bit in AAA last year and a little bit this year. And they're like, okay, come on. So, he's a shortstop, I think, by trade, but he's going to play second base because they have Henderson, who's a great young shortstop, 22 years old. So, you look at that team with Rutschman, now Holiday and Henderson at shortstop. I mean, they have some young, brilliant talent up the middle. The Orioles, I hate tanking and not competitive, but the Astros did it for a while and they came out of it pretty good. The Orioles did it for a while. They've come out of it very good. Got some really dynamic young game breakers. And this kid, Jackson Holiday, is the latest. And I'm glad they got him here quick and didn't try to play games. I mean, it's a little more incentivized now with your maneuverings on the roster with young players in terms of service time, because if he comes here and gets enough service time and wins a Rookie of the Year, you can actually reap an extra high draft pick. So, but like you were talking earlier, you want to see Strider on the field. You want to see your best guys on the field. This is another exciting talent, and I'm going to be looking to see what he does in Boston today. And if you're an Orioles fan, man, there's a lot of good young players to look at. So this kid just really 20 years old, remarkable. And it's such a tough game, Anthony. I think you know how tough this game is. To see a guy 20 years old, ascend to the highest level so quickly just is a testament to how much talent this kid has. And so I'm really eager to watch him play. I know I'll be tuning in for some highlights.
Listen, Jimmy, we love you, buddy. Great stuff. I love our conversations because I love going deep into seam head talk. I get to do that with you. So thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
And I don't want to rip all hard throwers. I mean, if it's your natural body, like Wheeler throws 96, he's a big, tall guy. It's easy. It's the other guys that are just grunting and groaning, and their bodies aren't fit for it. So I'm kind of a believer that in this game, in all games, it takes all kinds. You can have power. You can have the power hitter, but man, you still should still be a place for the line drive hitter. Should still be a place for the guy.
Yeah, Greg Maddux.
The change of speed guy, the paint in the corner. Like we're going to see one today, Aaron Nola. Yeah. He's that kind of guy. He's got to be on the edges. He's got to be on the middle of the plate. He's not grunting and groaning and trying to generate 100 miles an hour. Aaron Nola is 100% pitcher. And I love watching that guy. So getting back to the Phillies, I'm getting long-winded on you. They've had a chance to win their second straight series today behind Aaron Nola, and I know we're all a little hand-wringing about the offense, but it's about winning series. It's about winning series. Slow and steady sometimes wins the race. We'll see. So win a series today, and maybe we'll be happy when they come home tomorrow.
Amen, brother. I love it. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game today, brother.
Thanks, Ant.
There he is, the great Jim Salsbury, hanging in with us. I'm very excited to have Jimmy a part of the PHLY family, who is he's terrific. We all dive deep into geekdom with baseball. And speaking of great geekdom and nerds, we have one of the greatest, the prop king himself, the big brain. Our buddy Brad Feinberg joins us. The Daily Grind, presented by the Parks Sportsbook app. You love to bet Parks. Another stellar night by you, buddy.
Yeah, 13-6, Anthony. Again, I give out 5 plays on your show. I went 3-2, but 13-6 on my site, 13-6. I am, again, winning at levels that are ridiculous. By the way, 2 things. Like that color shirt. You look good in it. That's number one. And then John Candelera, what a great name from the past. I then had a Google. What do you think his stats are? I want to see how good you are. Give me his career wins and his ERA. Because that was the era. Again, me and you were the exact same era. So I love that you said that name.
I don't know his career. I mean, my guess is he was the ace for the Pirates. They won it in 79.
Yep.
I'll say he had close to 200 wins.
177. You're 1 for 1. Very close. And
and
ERA?
his ERA was very good. He was a sub 3 guy. I think he had to be somewhere around like 2.6, 2.7.
No. 3.33. No one. Anthony, I think you look at that history of baseball. I don't think anyone has that low of an ERA in the 2. I mean, I'm being honest. I'd actually be curious. Like what? Like even Steve Carlton's ERA, I think was like 3.10.
Was it
Like
3.10?
three,
Yeah,
I think something like that. It's the ERA. Like no
I'm
one's
thinking back
260.
to all his good starts, so I don't know.
He was great though. No, but he was a really underrated. That was when you said you used to go down and watch John Candelaria. I used to remember doing that. That's why I was like, "Holy smokes!"
Well, that's why we nerd out together because we can talk
it was a
about
great
this
one.
stuff. Like you can close. I can close my eyes,
Yeah,
and I can give you like players that come throughout the course of time that you couldn't wait to watch. Right, like
100%.
all
100%.
those teams, and pitchers were a big deal. Like you went back.
Oh
then.
yeah.
Like I
used to try
remember,
that.
it's like that era. The Orioles. We're talking about the Orioles today because of the kid Jackson Holliday is coming up.
Yeah,
But they had a pitcher who befuddled the Phillies, and he threw like you want to talk about stuff that moved. This guy Mike Boddicker.
Mike Boddicker, sure. Mike Boddicker, come on.
And he hurt them in the '83 World Series where like his ball would dance, man, and it would just flutter.
Good name. Yeah, and they had what Mike Boddicker, Mike Flanagan, Jim Palmer. Was Steve Stone? Steve Stone wasn't on that team, was he?
No.
Okay, that was going way back before that. But I remember. That's did Rick Dempsey win the MVP?
You know what? I'm not sure. It's a great question. I'm not sure, man.
Yeah, I think he may have won in 83.
We have so much, there's so much useless information with sports in our brains.
That's me. Yeah,
it is unbelievable. Like, because if you wanted to go to like the basketball, or the hockey, like that era with the the Rangers were the Smurfs back then, right?
Yes.
Like, and then you got we go to football. It's crazy. It's why we love sports. Like one day we'll go back in the day. We'll talk a little back in the day.
Yeah,
man,
I could do that forever.
You're just nailing it, man. You're nailing it.
I mean, I got to, again, I honestly, everyone watching the show, again, and I'm going to be on the Anthony show every single day. I'm going to give free picks. But again, if you want every one of my picks, bradsbestbets.com, Brad's Best Bets on Twitter. Again, I'm not blowing smoke. My winning percentage as high as anyone I would say in the world. I would go that far. If there was the show Shark Tank and everyone's record was up there, at least for this year, I don't think anyone in the world can match my record this year. It's over 2,000 documented bets, and I'm winning at an insane level. And again, I'm excited to be doing this every day with you, Anthony. Give your viewers some winners, and it's also just fun, as you said. I love talking sports and and then you could incorporate
truthfully, like the segment, you're going to give picks, but the segment is less about that and more just talking sports, right?
100%.
Giannis.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, when you think about the seismic effect, I use that word seismic effect with Strider and now with Giannis. Now, again, they're saying like a couple weeks and he'll be reevaluated. It's a calf strain, but you know how that is. Achilles.
It's funny because that always correlates, right? I mean, it just seems like it's like, what do you do if you're Milwaukee? Like, what do you do? Like I'm being serious. Like that's a really tough thing because that is usually when A happens, then B occurs, right? If A, then B. And it seems like, I'm not a doctor, I don't pretend to be, but I know that you don't want the calf because it's usually a precursor to potential Achilles injury. How long does he sit out? By the way, this team, in my opinion, was done anyway. Whether he plays, doesn't play, this team to me was a paper tiger. Yeah, they have Giannis. Yeah, they have Lillard. I get it. I just don't think it's their year, even if they were to play. Although, in fairness, I said the same thing about the Chiefs. And then Mahomes just lifted them. So I guess anything's possible. But I don't think it's their year. I really don't. And I really think it's going to.
Milwaukee has Doc Rivers, not Andy Reid. And
that's a great point. And it's a great point. Again, I'm really looking forward, Anthony. I got to tell you, again, I am really looking forward to the NBA playoffs. I am so excited that Embiid seems like he's relatively, okay. And to me, again,
36 minutes last night, right? Like, look at the numbers. Like, you're a box score ahead. Yeah. All right, you love the box score like I love the box score. Like 36 minutes, He gives you 11 boards, 8 dimes, 4 threes, and 37 points in 36 minutes. Like, those numbers are sick, dude.
Yeah,
sick.
they were sick. He was Anthony. It's interesting. I'm sure you saw this before he got hurt. His per minute 36 was the highest in NBA history this year. Did you know that? Did you know? No, think about that. Think about that. Even Wilt's year where he averaged 50, right? He did it in playing 50 minutes a game. Embiid was at like 37 points in 35 minutes or whatever it was. So he was actually slightly ahead of what even the incomparable Wilt Chamberlain was at. So that lets you know he was having a historic season, his best year before he got hurt. And it's funny, for anyone who knocks Embiid, and it does frustrate me, I saw Patrick Beverley talking on his podcast, and he's like, dude, you have no idea. He goes, this guy, because, he didn't play against Denver. He's a, you know what? He's like, dude, we watched this guy. He goes, his knee was so bad, and he was doing everything he could. He goes, you have no idea the stuff he went through to prepare for one game against, like, Toronto or whatever, and then he goes, the work that he had to do. He goes, we knew this guy is just showing such toughness, and I really am just hoping that injury was not going to say a blessing in disguise, but I mean sometimes you need like that time off, right? Like Aaron Jones, like switching sports, but Aaron Jones, great running back, right, for the Packers, always would get hurt. He was hurt for like 6-7 weeks. He came back in the playoffs. You saw Green Bay came within a whisker, right, of being right there in the Super Bowl. And I'm hoping that the Embiid thing can kind of be a little bit like that, where we've seen the Embiid experience, Anthony, where the last, 4 years, he's been hurt. And in the playoffs, they've been jinxed. Now, he theoretically should be okay. And who cares he didn't play 65 games and doesn't win MVP? I'm sure he doesn't. I don't think anyone does.
No, dude, well said. Beautifully said. Masters starts tomorrow. Do you have any picks?
You know, it's funny, Anthony. Again, I did. No, by the way, and again, I golf was my. You want to say it's interesting? I've been a winning gambler in every single sport. The one sport that I'll admit was my kryptonite, that was just something that I had a problem with, was because I loved it so much, was the Masters, the U.S. Open, the majors. I had a streak of 14 straight tournaments, 14 straight majors, 14 straight, where I picked the runner-up. And I bet the guy to win. And I would pick like 4 or 5 guys. And out of those 4 or 5 guys, everyone's like, I'm just picking one guy. Out of the 4 or 5 guys I picked, it was the runner-up 14 straight tournaments. And I literally became like, watching the golf was torture for me because I love watching it so much. But having my guy come in second every single time. But that was before the days where you could bet top 5s, top 10s. Right. What I would really recommend to everyone is if you're trying to make a pizza bet, have fun, that's awesome. Do it. Parks has a ton of stuff. You can't find any more in the entire world than what they're offering. Do that, and that's wonderful. But if you're actually really doing it to make money and make this like, a real thing that you're doing, I would advise do matchups. Take a golfer you like versus a golfer you don't like. It's really not that hard, right? Lay $1.15, something like that you think the guy should be maybe a 3-2 favorite. Bet top 10s, top 20s, top 30s to make the cut. Stuff where there's a yes/no, so you're getting a true fair price from the sportsbook. Listen, I'm being honest, I think when they just offer a yes market, you don't see the hold in that. Like when you're betting a game -110, the hold is about 4.37%, I think it is. When there is a hold in the golf, sometimes the hold is 35%. So they're taking a hold 10% higher, 10 times higher than what the other holds are, because they're not giving you a yes/no factor. So when you do the math, the hold in it's very high. But I did let myself bet one golfer. I did. I bet him to come in the top 20. I bet him to win, actually. I took him. Now, I took him a little back. I got him at like 70-1, I believe it was, or 65. It was something like that. But I bet him just to come in the top 20 at even odds. It was Joaquin Niemann, the golfer who went to the Live. Young guy. He's actually won, Anthony, 3 of his last 6 starts. He's come in the top 5 in I think every one of them. He's playing well. He's concentrated his entire thing. I've read a lot of articles on him for this tournament, specifically for the Masters. Again, not that everyone doesn't want to win it. I'm sure they do. But I think he'll come in the top 20, and I took a little bit of a chance. And you could still, I think, get like 35-1 area on him. That would be the guy. Now, again, do I think he's the most likely winner? No, I think it's Scotty Scheffler. Right. But I'm not interested in taking 4-1 in a major tournament.
No. Any other picks for today?
I do. I got some
What do you
stuff for you. We're going to start Ryan Weathers, Anthony, pitcher for the Florida Marlins or Miami Marlins, where they're going by these days. Over 4.5 hits allowed. He went 9-4 to the over last year. Okay, 1-1 this year, so 10-5. Look at his career hits per inning. It's always been above one hit per inning. Ryan Weathers, I think it should be 5.5 going against a pretty good lineup in the Yankees. I say Ryan. By the way, the lowest 90% of the time you're going to see either 4.5 or 5.5 for hits. Maybe if you Tyler Glass now will be 3.5, and maybe like some jabroni will be 6.5, right? Some guy who's really not good, who goes a lot of innings. But usually it's always going to be 4.5, 5.5. To me, Weathers was a stone cold 5.5, and by making it 4.5, to me it's a play. And then NBA, I'm going to give you a couple games Anthony actually like. I do think, and I follow this division probably closer than anyone, I do think that Denver is going to beat Minnesota. You can lay 6. This is for the division in essence. With Jamal Murray, this Denver team, I think they just lost the last game to Minnesota. I say they get their revenge. Still no Towns from Minnesota. I think Denver, again, not that 6 is a bad number, but I think they win this game by double digits. Just kind of my feel from watching these teams all year. And then also, we saw Clippers clinch the division last night, Anthony. They were up by literally 40 points on the Suns. Suns need this game not to make the play-in. The game's at the Clippers. I'm expecting we're going to get an announcement that Paul George is going to rest. That, maybe no Harden, maybe no Kawhi. Right now the line is 4. I laid $1.65 with the money line $1.64. I like either taking the money line, laying $1.65, or laying 4, Anthony. I think we're going to get a bump of that line closes at 6 to 7, in my opinion. They just haven't announced it, but I'm fairly certain we're going to see something like that. And then I got a couple props for you, Anthony. Chet Holmgren. I bet this one yesterday. Over 1.5 assists. He averages 2.6 assists, Anthony. 55 and 24 to the over. I don't need to be a genius to realize it's a good bet. I mean, come on. It's like, and then when it's a low number like that for everyone watching, it's like a soccer game, right? When you're watching the USA and the World Cup. When the over-under is 1.5 versus 2.5, like, oh, what's the difference? The difference is everything. There's so few goals scored. Same thing with Chet Holmgren's assists. He's not going to get a ton. He's probably going to get 1, 2, or 3. Where I'm getting the 1 and I get the 2 and the 3. You get the 1, So it's like I like Chet Holmgren over that. And then Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists, Anthony. It's the bet I've done. I keep winning. He's averaging 6 assists for the year. 28 and 7 to over 4.5 assists, Anthony. Averaging at over 6 a game. That should not be. It should be 5.5. I'll give you one last one. Jalen Suggs, Orlando Magic. Under 3.5 assists. He's only averaging 2.8 assists for the year. He's 49 and 23 to this under. This number should be 2.5, not 3.5.
You're the best at Brad's Best Bets, Brad'sBestBets.com. You are the prop king, buddy. Love you.
I look forward to seeing you. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
See you tomorrow. There he is, the big brain. And don't forget all the stuff that Brad talks about, whether it's all the props in the NBA, Major League Baseball, or the Masters, right? You can find at the Bet Park Sportsbook app right there. He takes all the odds and all the numbers right on the Bet Park Sportsbook app. You can go to the casino, the Parks Casino, which is incredible. Lots of good stuff going on. The Derby next month. They have everything. But you want to play and have some fun with sports or casino action right on your phone, it is the Bet Park Sportsbook app. You win your first $10 bet, you get $125. And sportsbook bonus bets, you play for fun, you love to win, you bet. Bet Parks. Download the app, play along with us. Got to be 21 or older. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. JP.
Absolutely. And let's talk about our friends over at the Game Time app. As you guys can clearly tell, it's getting really nice outside. So you guys are going to go out, check out some of these sporting events, some of these concerts. That's why the Game Time app is extremely important here, ladies and gentlemen. And guys, the best part about this is that stressful times for buying tickets no longer exist with the Game Time app. Download the free app right now. You can see how functional this app is. You can see your seats right before buying. And of course, you can see those fees right before checking out as well. No more hidden fees, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you still have some time right now to take advantage of the opening week promo that they got going on here for all of us baseball fans. All users can get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more in the Game Time app with the promo code FIRSTPITCH. That's FIRSTPITCH for $20 off. Ladies and gentlemen, you have 4 days left. That's 4 days left here to take advantage of this offer. So definitely check it out. Download the Game Time app. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed, cuz.
All right. Thank you, JP. We appreciate it. It is 10 o'clock across the Delaware Valley. And this portion of the Anthony Gargano Show is brought to you by Rite Aid. Find all of your favorite goods at your neighborhood Rite Aid. All right. I love this time of the year. In fact, we have him twice this week. He is the legend. There's no one better. The great Baldy. Look at him.
Morning, cuz. Morning, cuz. How you doing? Good to be with you.
Great to be with you. I got news for you. It appears that our trip, because I think we're going to go to Brazil, right? Well, we're going to try to do this.
San Paulo. I mean, it's we'll get the schedule, but it looks like Philly and Cleveland. But they open up Thursday night. Friday night, they're playing in San Paulo. So, I mean, we got to be there. It's first game ever in Brazil. I feel like I'm part Brazilian as many times as I've been down there to visit. Fado Portuguese, I'm ready to go. If we can get that together, cuz I will be there for sure.
Yeah, and that's our buddy Vince at True Fan Travel has that going. But here's the news. It's not Cleveland. It's the Packers.
Oh, the Packers?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
Great game.
It's a great game. It's a great
Eagles
game.
Pack. Wow.
I mean, Packers coming off an impressive playoff victory in Dallas. They took San Francisco to the brink. Young team, great young quarterback, good coaching staff. A lot to like about that matchup.
Yeah, man. That's a team that you and we fell in love with them, right? Because Jordan Love, like that second half of the season, played really well. Those young receivers, I mean, my God, there's one after another of them, Baldy.
Oh, yeah. Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson. I mean,
Musgrave, tight end.
Musgrave, yeah. And, it was good. They brought in Josh Jacobs to replace Aaron Jones. Like, I think they'll, they've been striking gold in the draft. I think they'll continue to do that.
So we're going to have some fun, right? Like, so as we always do in the draft, I want to get into your brain a little bit when we look at the Eagles, and I want to look at the top defensive players in this year's draft. You've been killing it, watching all the tape, doing the whole thing. Interesting. The Eagles have 18 reported top 30 visits. 6 are tackles. 3 are edge rushers. So let's look at defense, and let's look at defensive difference makers in this draft. So let's start with the edge position and kind of go through some of the top prospects and who you like off the edge.
The best edge rusher in this draft is Dallas Turner from Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got length. He's already got a killer stab move, long arm move where he just bends the right way. He's got tremendous power. He's got, really good length. I mean, he's the elite guy to me, but there's a lot of value here. I mean, Jared Verse from Florida State is a big dude. I mean, he's 6'4", he's 255 pounds. Like, he comes off the edge with the right attitude. But maybe the most interesting edge rusher in this draft is Laiatu Latu from UCLA, just because of how crafty he is. Because, like, he gives everybody fits. He's on your edge. He turns the corner very quickly. He went up against a lot of these top prospects at tackle, whether it was Fuanga or whether it was Atanu at Washington. He went up against all these guys. He is an interesting prospect because of just the way that he's able to defeat blocks in both getting after the quarterback and in the run game too. And they line him up everywhere. They line him up in a 3 technique, over the tackle, outside wide. He kind of lines up everywhere.
Do you like Chop Robinson at all?
I like Chop Robinson. He might be, if you just looked at defensive ends, like not a guy that plays linebacker, edge rusher. He's probably the number 1 defensive end just because how he anchors, just his measurables. I mean, he ran in the 4.4s because, at 255 pounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he's just one of these guys that is going to grow into his body. The talent is going to be there. And I think he'll be a better pro than he was a college player.
It's so interesting because with all the quarterbacks and then the three receivers and then you got a couple tackles, like there seems to be the value is going to be on defense. Is that correct? Am I reading this kind of correctly?
Well, I mean, we might not get. I mean, I would think Dallas Turner is going to go in the top 10, but he might be the only defensive player in the top 10. I mean, I could say either Atlanta or Chicago at 8 and 9 might very well be in the market for Dallas Turner, but we don't know who might trade up for a quarterback that might slide for one of these receivers. I know the Eagles are looking at a couple of offensive tackles today that they're very interested in. We've got a couple prominent coaches and players kind of evaluating them. So I'm kind of like listening to what they have to say. There's still this process. Like if you just know Howie, I know you know Howie well. There's not a guy that's worked for Howie that at this time of the year, Howie doesn't wear him out. Like they're going to go through every possible trade scenario, trading up, trading back, who might be there, value. And that's why they've been pretty good, in the draft at, taking guys. So I think a lot of people are in the building, evaluate these people and these potential players, not just Howie and the staff. I think coaches, players, if you remember, J.C. Kelsey, looked at Cam Jurgens coming out of Nebraska 2 years ago, was part of that process, put his eyeballs on him and gave him what he thought, he looked like. So I think that's something that's interesting to me. I think more teams should actually do that and have some of their elite players and veterans look at and eyeball some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, who better than Stoutland to talk about offensive linemen, right? Like
Exactly.
you have to use all your resources in the building. I know that Andy did that with Spags. Like he would look at all like, all right, look at all your defensive guys, and they would have their D-back coaches look at D-backs, like all that stuff. Like you got to be able to do that.
I don't think Jordan Mailata would be an Eagle if it wasn't for Jeff Stoutland. I mean, he was in an international program. Stout's like, give him to me. Let me work with him. Let me take that talent. Let me work with him. So, I mean, that's just one guy. But Suapeta went on in free agency, but he started games for us. Jack Driscoll was a versatile player, late round draft pick. I've always said Juan Castillo, Jeff Stoutland, like these guys, for every guy they develop, they should get a bonus. Like late round pick or free agent that Hank Fraley, you look at some of these guys that became starters for the Eagles and good players. The offensive line coach is a real important part of this whole process.
Yeah, no, I like that idea of the bonus. I think you're spot on. So let's look at corner. Obviously, Arnold is the best corner out there. Kenyon Mitchell, I know you like out of Toledo, who's really good. And then you got a guy like Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, and you got Kool-Aid, who's your other opposite corner at Alabama.
And really, I mean, look, if we at this time last year, you would have said Kool-Aid is going to be the number one corner.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going into the season, he was kind of ranked number one. Now he's still a very good player. It might be a really good player, but nobody has him in front of Terrion Arnold right now. There are people that have Quinyon Mitchell in front of him. I mean, there's a debate there. There's a debate, honestly, with Cooper DeJean from Iowa. Just because of his versatility, his punt return ability, how he tested recently after an injury, and just the presence that he plays with it. But the one thing I love about Terrion Arnold is, man, that guy is a pit bull when it comes to tackling. He has no fear. He's not a big guy. He's 190 pounds, but I mean, he has no fear of being a good tackler out there on the perimeter, and he's good at it. And so tackle for losses, you want to run bubble screens, he's defeating the blocks. There's an awful lot to like about him. Mitchell just ran a lot faster, and if you say, okay, how big of a part is speed? Well, I think if you watch Quinyon Mitchell play, his ability to break on a ball is second to none. Like he's lightning fast. And I do think there's value there when you look at these corners where
especially if you want to employ a space corner. Yeah.
It's 4-3-3 versus 4-5. Is that a big deal? The way that Mitchell plays, I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, you're too spot on, especially as a space corner. I mean, my God, jeez, I mean, that's the kind of kid that you love. Now, let me ask you: is it prudent for the Eagles to move up? Like, if you can get some dramatic value off of one of these edges or one of the corners, would you consider moving up?
Yeah, I would consider it. They've got picks 50 and 53. They've got ammunition. I would think they would be more inclined to move up, cuz, than they would to move back. Now, it depends on how Howie has his board. I mean, I was with the team all day yesterday. There's some teams that feel there's only 25 first-round picks in this draft. That second round could be really rich. But I think, they moved up to get Fletcher Cox coming out of Mississippi State. I mean, I remember that draft 2012 like it was yesterday. They moved up to go get him. It was the right pick. If you think that there's a great player that either is sliding or there's value, I could see the Eagles moving out of their spot to go get a player.
Baldy's rankings of need, and again, it's not about need. It's always about best player available and all that stuff. But would you? Obviously, it's going to come with 3 spots. It's going to be tackle for obvious reasons. With Lane, you would at some point, like to have his replacement be groomed. You have edge, which you need now, and corner, which you need now. What's the priority of if you rank those 3?
Well, I don't. Lane Johnson's healthy. Like, I don't know. People are like they're not pushing him out the door. I don't think he's ready to hang it up anytime soon. I mean, there has not been any kind of a drop off in his play.
He's been great. And you're close with him. And I know how close you guys are. He's terrific, man. And he means so much to that line.
Like, if you look at a guy at Washington, like Fautano, like when I watch him play, I mean, he's an elite athlete. His hands are outstanding. Like, his punch he jolts you. If you look at him play left tackle at Washington, you go, man, he's a good left tackle. He's probably not as long as you want, but he could be a Pro Bowl guard. Quentin Nelson was a tackle at Notre Dame. Zach Martin was a tackle at Notre Dame. They've been all pros at offensive guard. I feel the way Fautano runs, the way that his power, like, I feel like he could be an all-pro guard. Now, could the Eagles take him in the first round, and could he go in there and play guard and get value for him right guard? Because to me, there's Tyler Steens there from last year, and he played okay in spot. He was a rookie though. But could you upgrade the line with a guy like Fautano and play him at guard, and then maybe if Lane does decide to hang it up whenever, could you kick him back out? It's a possibility. I think a guy like Blake Fisher at Notre Dame looks like a second-round pick, but he looks like a right tackle to me. And if I had to compare him, I would say, look, there's a really good right tackle with the Rams. Rob Havenstein. Been a really good player for a long time out there. They won a Super Bowl with Rob. To me, when I watched Blake Fisher, like, Havenstein was a second-round pick out of Wisconsin. Like, that would be my comp. Like, I think Rob's a little bit bigger than Blake, but I think it's a good comp. Yeah. And I think Blake Fisher looks like he's in that second tier of tackles. But I know what you're getting. You're getting a guy that is he's a worker. He's committed. He wants to be good. He probably, I don't know what kind of money he got at Notre Dame, NIL money. Some of these guys are, they're already kind of spoiled to me. I don't think that's the case with Blake Fisher.
No, by the way, that's a great comp. So I gotta switch a little gears on you, because I love, we talk about this often, your worldliness. All right. So I just for the audience, I brought up to you that John Rahm had his Masters dinner last night. Mm-hmm. And John Rahm is from Spain, obviously, right? Yeah. He's from the Basque region of Spain. And so he started out with these peppers, right? And then he went into these anchovy skewers with peppers and olives. He had the Iberian ham, which is unbelievable. Like, it's like $100 for a quarter pound. He had this creamy chicken fritters with the spicy chorizo potatoes. And so I go, this is so interesting. I wonder if Baldy's been to Spain. and your answer was?
Well, I mean, I lived in Spain. I lived in Sitges, which is south of Barcelona. It's a town right on the Mediterranean. We were stationed in Germany one year, and we didn't like it. So we said, we got to get out of here. Like by the second week. So they had this Hotel Suber right on the beach of the Mediterranean. Anybody that did NFL Europe games, I don't care if it was Aikman, Moose Johnson, Bill Moss, anybody that went over there, they went to Sitges, Spain. They've never stopped talking about it since. We've had reunions over there. And Miguel Matas was the owner of the Barcelona Dragons, as they would say in Catalan, the Dragoons, because that's what you're talking about with Ram. He's in the Catalonian region of Spain,
yes,
the Basque region. It's their own separate language.
Yes,
like Catalan.
The
like I learned a little bit of language. It's like it sounds French. It's just take the Spanish word and cut it in half. That's kind of what Catalan is. So we lived there. You know, I went and ran with the Bulls. I ran with the Bulls in Pamplona one year. You know, I mean, 6 days. I ran 7 days in Pamplona. You know,
What's
777.
What happens? It's a bucket list for like all of humankind. What is it? Like, explain.
Well, I mean, first of all, you got to go read "The Sun Also Rises" by Hemingway.
The greatest.
Right? So
greatest, Baldy.
That's you got to get into your literature.
Yeah.
You got to get up to speed on this. This town of Pamplona is, it's just one of these charming Spanish, towns, but it fills for this running. And so it's 777 on July 7th, 7/7 at 7 in the morning. They start running these bulls. All right, they run them in two heats. They got 6 bulls. They go first, and then 6 more bulls go. And we start lining up. We stay up all night. You don't go to sleep in Spain. You stay up all night, and you get your last couple drinks. At 5, you start lining up, meeting people from all over the world. And then, they start, the countdown starts. And your RPMs and your adrenaline starts pumping. Because when these bulls go, they go. And they run into the bull ring. And the idea is the bull ring's full. All the fans are full. And the stands are full. And so if you get in there before the bulls get there, the fans know you didn't run with the bulls. So they boo you if you get in there too early. So they want to see the bulls come in first and then the people right after. So one day I'm running and, we had tequilas all night. We had, we were doing, whatever. So we had a good night.
That's exactly what I want to do, which is run with the bulls on a hangover.
There's no hangover. You never get to a hangover. You just keep going. So I'll never forget. So I run with the bulls one day and, smacking them on the ass as they go by us, whatever, macho thing we're trying to do. And so I get into the bull ring and, some of these people are crazy what they're doing with these bulls because what they do is they corral them and then they release them into this bull ring with all these people. And the bulls just go nuts. And, you kind of feel their power or whatever. So I'm going in. All right, no big deal. But like I said, I've been drinking all night. So later that day, we were up and, we're having some sangria and we're having some paella and we're enjoying, the whole thing. And they have this newspaper that's out, right? And they're selling these newspapers in all these different corners of the street. And I'm looking down and I'm on the front cover of this newspaper in Pamplona. And it's a 4-shot picture of a bull coming into the ring and me literally coming into the ring as the bull's leaving the ring. And I'm grabbing the bull by the horns to get out of the way. And I don't remember any of it. And I had to be reminded. So I bought 100 copies of the paper. And I said, I want to remember this the rest of my life. And somewhere in my house, I still have probably a couple.
You have to frame that.
I got to frame
it. You're thinking the bull is wearing a Giants helmet, right? I mean, you're kicking it out.
In Catalan, in Spanish, the caption was grabbing the bull by the horns. That was the caption. That was the headline. Grab the bull by the horns. And that's what it looked like I was doing, although I don't really recall it. I needed the newspaper and the pictures to remind me of it. So that's like kind of the example a little bit.
Because that's freaking fabulous. Like, did you use offensive line technique? Like the horns were inside the shoulder pads?
I got long arms and big hands. If I went to the combine, I would have good measurables. So I used complete extension. I locked out on the bull as best I can remember. And then, like a good defensive lineman, I stacked and I shed. Stack and shed, stack and shed. So that's what I did to the bull.
That's one of the greatest. I thought I heard all the stories. That's one of the greatest stories that actually you forgot. There's a picture of you and you completely forgot. You don't even remember what happened.
I saw the newspaper and, I was reminded by what probably happened that morning since some photographer captured it.
That's beautiful. What would Baldy's Masters dinner be? Like if you have your Masters dinner, what would it be? Now, obviously, with a meat locker. So
you're in Georgia. To me, my go-to food when I'm hungry is ribs. I need barbecue. I'm in Georgia. There's a big, you go outside. You go to Athens before a game there at University of Georgia. It's like, you've got the barbecue pits out there, and they're cooking their meat. I'm a carnivore. I exist almost solely on meat. I'm going straight ribs. I'm going brisket. I need a good brisket. So, I'm not really going to get a big variety. Like I like, what Rom's doing because I like the Spanish tapas, but
yeah,
I could live on meat, olives, and maybe a Spanish Rioja, like from the region of Barcelona.
That is absolutely fabulous. Did you, just curious, because I'm with you on the whole, like that region, the tapas, like all that stuff is to me is beautiful, man. Like that culture is a great culture because it's late night. Like it's, you don't eat dinner. That's just why tapas were made. That you would just kind of graze and pick at it.
Yeah, you go out at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. You finish dinner around 1. The venta, the wind in Spain, you need that to kind of be your air conditioning, at night. And then you go out, everybody does. I don't care how old you are. Like you go out at night and when the sun starts coming up, you have your sweet, donuts and your whiskey and you keep going. Or because you're not getting breakfast in Spain on a Saturday or Sunday morning. There's nobody up to cook it. So you might as well just keep going.
That's fabulous. Speaking of breakfast, is your streak still alive? How many days that you have eaten? It's the bacon and the
bacon sausage and a cheese omelet. It's coming up here in a little bit. I got to do one more show here real quick, but probably a late breakfast like 11 o'clock here this morning.
So how many straight days have you had?
I don't know. Probably almost every day since I started this in August. So almost every day since August.
How about that? So every day, the omelet, the bacon, and the sausage.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Oh, by the way, the cholesterol is way down. The sugar content is way down, and the weight is down. So why would I change?
No, that's because you're a true meat locker man.
I'm a carnivore.
Yeah. It's perfect. Brother, you're the greatest. You are the best. On Friday, we will do Baldy's, the Meat Locker draft.
Yeah.
Mock draft 1.0. Okay?
Let's do it, cuz. Yep. I'll be set.
I love it. You're the greatest,
Thanks,
brother.
man.
Love you, man.
Yeah, man. You
did
too.
You read this story? Did you read my screenplay?
I have it right there. I have it right on my bookcase right here, cuz. I just need 2 hours. 2 free hours a night. I'm going to get to it.
All right. Thanks, buddy. You're the best. The great Baldy. You know what's funny about him is that he is an amazing, well-read person. Like I sent him stuff that I write to read because he's that good. Like when he talked about The Sun Also Rises, like some of the greatest. Like he reads all the classic. He's one of the most interesting men in the world.
He's the ultimate Renaissance man.
He is. He really is. That's why I sent him.
Stories are awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Coming up, Cuz's Clubhouse. So we're going to hang out with Cuz's Clubhouse, the crew, VG, my man.
Yeah.
You like Baldy's his
Oh, my
meals,
God.
right?
Right, talked to him in Catalonian Español. In España.
Yes.
Barcelona.
You had that perfect the way it was pronounced. I want to make sure you guys give us your meals. All right, we'll do
get to
best
that.
and worst, all kinds of stuff to kind of tap into. VG's hate of tortorella. We'll get into all of it coming up. He's a self-loathing Italian. We will discuss all this stuff straight ahead. It's the Anthony Gargano Show, and one of our people I always want to tell you about, and it goes great with a primo, is an Olipop. How about that?
Traditional cola
How
with the
about
hoagie?
a little Olipop and a
I'm in.
primo? Ollie Primo, man. That's fantastic. Olipop. In case you've never heard of Olipop, it's unbelievable. It's the world's first functional soda. All right. So you have classic soda taste and the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients that support gut health. Olipop, new kind of soda, only 2 to 5 grams of sugar, 9 grams of fiber per can. Olipop, available online, almost 30,000 retailers across the country, including Wawa. Yes, I stopped at Wawa. I got my damn coffee, which
Nice.
I love every day.
20 ouncer.
Yeah, 20. I went 20. I don't like 24.
It's too much.
It's like I'd rather do 2 20s than 124.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I gotcha.
Like only because of it just stays like
Yeah.
you know,
That's a
or
lot of
one
coffee.
Olipop equals that.
Oh.
That's a lot of coffee, 220s.
Yeah, I do 220. If I got
220s.
home, I'll put the espresso in, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It's the Euro and cuz.
yeah, whatever. But I gotta do my favorite Olipop. Strawberry vanilla, that's Massimo's favorite. And the classic root beer, that's Anthony's favorite because I put a vanilla bean ice cream scoop in the Olipop. Hey, you can get it. Use the code Philly20. 20% off your next Olipop order. You can check it out online, drinkolipop.com and Amazon. And including, again, 30,000 retailers nationwide, including Wawa, Target, Wegmans, ShopRite, GoPuff, Olipop. All right, we'll
Awesome.
come back and Cuz's Clubhouse coming up next. Tell us about some PHLY, buddy.
Again, guys, listen, we do appreciate you guys tuning into the Anthony Gargano Show, taking the time out of your day to listen to us. Of course, guys, keep in mind, make sure you guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe. When you do subscribe, hit that bell button so you can know exactly when the Anthony Gargano Show starts. And of course, while you're at it, if you want to be a part of this great family we got going on here, become a diehard, guys. It's some great stuff that we got going on there, especially some exclusive content. I know a lot of people want to talk about the Flyers and Tortorella, including VG. Well, Charlie O'Connor's got us hooked up with that article in there. He put it out here today, so make sure you guys check it out. Some good in-depth stuff with the Philadelphia Flyers. But not only that, you get discount on merch, that PHLY locker with some great stuff you guys can see in the corner of the screen here on YouTube, the new 4for4 t-shirt, and a bunch of other stuff, including the Dry Guy, the Fly Guy t-shirt that I wore yesterday. All that great swag is on the PHLY locker. And of course, last but not least, guys, if after this show, if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it in the car or wherever you're at. Go wherever you stream podcasts, subscribe, and rate. We would definitely appreciate that. That's all we got for you guys.
All right, I love it. Thanks, JP. All right, hang with us during our transition. It won't be long, I promise. Cuz's Clubhouse coming up next, right here on the Anthony Gargano Show.
Let's head to the arena right now. Check in with Kyle Neubeck after attending all the press conferences, talking to some players in the locker room, live from the arena. Kyle, what's up, man? And good, again, 6 games in a row here. 6 is back to 10 games over 500. Joel Embiid out there with his 37 and 11, almost a triple-double. Ho-hum, but the most important thing was just simply that they didn't drop the ball and they went out there and continued to do what we've seen, which is win. And they did it once again by picking up their 6th to maintain with the other teams in front of them.
Yeah, look, can't count on the Atlanta Hawks to do absolutely anything of value, obviously. We were all sitting in the locker room we were all sitting in the locker room watching that game as we waited on Joel and D'Anthony and the rest of these guys. But yeah, to your point, Devon, I thought for 2.5 quarters of that game, they were just very clearly fucking around. It was not they did not take the opponent seriously.
Yep.
I suppose you could argue it's an opponent that doesn't deserve to be taken seriously. I thought they got some key contributions from role players at the end of that third quarter to kind of push them over the edge. Thought Kelly Oubre gave them a spark, made some defensive plays, had a couple nice baskets at the end of the quarter. Jeff Doughton, I thought, had a really solid night off the bench in that backup ball handling role. But frankly, they also just had Joel Embiid. And when they have Joel Embiid, generally they're a very good basketball team. So Joel in screw around, doesn't really care mode, still ends up with 37, 11, 8, 3 steals, 2 blocks, or maybe I'm reversing those. I don't remember. But point being that Joel, with not a care in the world for what was going on out there, is still dominant. So it's good to see him play well despite the fact that he's not super engaged. And frankly, it was pretty good to see him get 35 minutes in, right? Like I think that was a major milestone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are some people upset that he's still in the game because nobody wants to risk further injury. But I do think that getting him or working on that conditioning base is very important for him.
All right, welcome back. It's Cousins Clubhouse. Woo! Love it. As we got my man VG.
You.
Of course, JP. Tom Zapata. Violations Greg Caputo. As we hang out, this portion of the program brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the TrueMark difference, the credit union difference. TrueMark.com/PHLY. All right, boys, couple things. Let's start off like we always do, the best and worst of the day.
Okay.
So, what was the best and worst of last night? JP, let's start with you. Give me your best.
All right, so I'm going to go a little pop culture here. I'm a big Batman guy. I loved the first Joker. Well, they came out with the teaser of Joker 2. Now, I'm intrigued with this one because the first one was fantastic, if you guys haven't watched it. But this one, we got Harley Quinn, who we know is extremely important to the Joker timeline. And Lady Gaga will be playing Harley Quinn. So I'm intrigued how she does in that role. We've had some really good Harley Quinns. So that got me juiced. I'm a little juiced. The Joker 2 teaser. That was the best.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So we should hopefully get a nice little trailer soon. Hopefully that's out by summer. I'm excited for the Joker.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big Joker guy.
What was the other one? Did I not see Penguin too?
I'm not sure.
Did I see
there's
the
a
trailer?
penguin coming.
I saw the trailer of Penguin for Batman, no?
Mm-hmm.
So I know he was in The Batman. He was in the first one. They were talking about doing
Is
like a
it a
spin-off
series?
show.
It's on HBO. It's coming out on HBO. It's a series.
That's where I saw
Yeah.
it. It's a series, right?
It's going to be a
That's
series,
Andrew.
Penguin, yeah.
That actually looks pretty good, the
Yeah.
Penguin.
Nothing
looks
beats
good.
our
He was a
boy
great
Danny
character.
DeVito, though.
Yes, yes. Or Bob Marino. Bob Marino, he loves the Penguin.
Gaga will probably be good. She's good at anything she does. She's really talented.
Yeah.
she's cool.
Give me your best.
This one is easy for everybody out there. The Flyers are my best of the night because they broke Torts. They broke him. His post-game show. Who was that guy? He was sensitive. He had emotional intelligence. Lurie might bring him on as a consultant. He was like, please, basically like, please, guys, let's just get our dignity back. I'm sorry I was so harsh, and I'm sorry I called you soft and said you have no balls, but please, guys, these are good guys in there. Let's get our dignity back and play this game right. So, yeah, I'm heavy on the Flyers against the Rangers. Is it tomorrow? Thursday?
Tomorrow.
Thursday.
Yeah, I'm heavy. They're
Tomorrow
gonna come
night,
out-
Flyers, Rangers. They could lose. They could give up 2 touchdowns.
Nah,
tomorrow.
they broke
3
it. So
field
they
goals.
come out strong. They come out strong. They get a point against the Rangers.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow. VG. Okay.
Yeah, VG. VG hates Torts. Like is he a top 5 hate?
Yeah, and I'm not on Len in the comment section. I agree. Tort supporters are stuck in the 70s and 80s, and I cannot agree more.
Oh, that's great. Give me the worst of the evening last night.
All right. So there's in sports.
Sonny Gray.
We're gonna go basketball here. In sports, there are moments when you're actually playing that just give you that euphoria. There's nothing better than a breakaway for a layup. Well, how about the Chicago Bulls last night? Unfortunately, well, this has something to do with a former Sixer, Torrey Craig of the Bulls. He's going for a breakaway. He's trying to give the highlight slam dunk. He's going off the backboard thinking he's going to yam on him. And then here comes Andre Drummond from behind. And I don't know what he was thinking, but he decides, oh, let me dunk this. So here comes Andre Drummond on top of Torrey Craig. And both of those guys, they can't even get the dunk in. It's just one of those blooper moments here. And I was just like,
Andre Drummond would dunk Torrey Craig.
Yeah, it was absolutely wild, and I just feel bad for Torrey
It was
Craig.
a weird night in the NBA because the Warriors made 26 of 41 threes. I mean,
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Draymond made 5. Draymond Green 5 threes. Steph had 6.
Regulation hoop?
Yeah, Clay had 5. And in the other anomaly last night in the NBA, Milwaukee and Boston combined. Guess how many free throws they shot combined?
13.
What do you got?
I got 15.
2.
Really?
2.
Are you serious?
They only went to the line twice. Talk about.
Refs like, no,
What
you guys
is
did
it,
an all-star
like,
game?
Right? Like, unbelievable. Like, do you play defense?
Right.
They went to the line twice.
That's out of control.
That's
It
unheard
is.
of.
It Boston,
Those
Milwaukee
referees need to be
before
investigated.
Before Giannis gets hurt. It's unreal.
That is crazy.
That is crazy. That's insane, man. All right. And your worst of the
So
weekend?
mine was a layup till some breaking news this morning. I had the Phillies channel screw up last night, which people couldn't find it. I went to a bar to try and watch all 3 games at once. I couldn't find it because the bar didn't have the proper channel.
Yeah.
But this breaking news is the worst of the day, I think. Except the bus driver got off the bus to relieve himself,
I
quote,
saw
take
that.
a leak. And the bus rolled
Quote,
away.
take a leak.
The bus rolled away as soon as he walked off the bus and it crashed into a pole, taking down power line.
VG, was this his first day? Was this his first day?
4:30 in the morning. I don't know how long
He's
this guy's
probably just like delirious, just tired.
Oh,
got off the bus to take a leak. You do that, you stand against
which
the
line
wall.
was it?
I do not have that.
Oh,
You stand
my
against
God.
the wall, you see the bus just rolling down the street.
Oh,
What do you do?
Man, that's rough, dude.
Oh my god.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Uh,
Scepter's had their share of issues with drivers and stuff and shooting. Not a great year for Scepter right now.
No,
all right. Let me ask you. I posed the question to Baldy
Okay.
about what his menu would be for the Masters. So I read you John Rahm. He celebrated with from the Basque region of Spain. He had these Germana peppers. He had these anchovy skewers with peppers and olives. The Iberian ham. You know who's got it? The Iberian ham at the Bruno Brothers.
No way.
Yeah, Emilio's got it.
Okay.
Like, it was ridiculous. Like $100 per like
Doesn't
half
sound-
a quarter pound.
yeah.
Something ridiculous, like $200 a pound. It's ridiculous. So he had that. He had this creamy chicken fritters with spicy potato chorizo.
I'm okay with that.
Right. So that's his thing. So I'll ask you.
Okay.
All right. Now you have your culture.
Yeah.
You
we got
know,
a lot
from
here.
Colombia
Yeah.
and Nicaragua.
Yeah.
So
Got a Puerto Rican fiance.
look at that. You run the gamut of Latin America.
Yeah.
So what would be your master's dinner?
All right, you guys ready for this? Is a lot of food, so sit tight for this one. So we're gonna start off here with alcapurrias from Puerto Rico, which is pretty much fried plantain. They stuff it with ground beef.
Oh yeah,
Fried anything for sure. And then I'm also
well they had. So I covered a years ago. Dwight Gooden was making a comeback, and he was in Puerto Rico, right? And he was pitching, and they sent me down. Tough sledding, man. I had a week in Puerto Rico, right? Like on the paper, and at the stadium they had these like. Here they're inside outs, Florida style.
Oh,
You know the
yeah.
Florida style
Yeah,
inside
I
outs,
love the Florida
right?
style.
Which is like fried dough inside sauce and cheese, which is like a panzerotti,
oh yeah,
right? Which is unbelievable. But they did that same kind of dough fried, but inside was meat and cheese.
So
is that
good.
what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. It's like Puerto Rico, Latin America in general. The fried food's so good, but especially like in Puerto Rico, especially like those baseball games. Like
Right.
you go outside, you got like someone like with some table or
Right.
a cart
That's
frying
what they.
stuff.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
awesome.
having one at the stadium El Stadio.
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico.
That's
At
awesome.
San Juan.
I love that. We're also gonna go with so Philly Sports Diner, shouts to Philly Sports Diner over in Runnymede. The mozzarella sticks are like that has to be part of my last meal. Before.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go with a mozz stick?
I love those.
Yeah.
Those mozzarella sticks are something else. All right, so then we're going into the main course for all my Colombianos. We're gonna go with a bandeja paisa, which this is a plate full of everything. Like Baldy would love this. So it's rice, beans, fried egg, avocado, and arepa, which we'll talk about a little bit later, steak, chicharrón, which is just like pork rinds. Like it's literally everything in this humongous plate. And like that has to be on this meal as well. And then we're ending it with a pastéis de nata from Lisboa, Portugal. Oh, phenomenal. I want the powdered sugar on it.
What is it? It's
an egg custard. So think of like a small pie, and it's an egg custard. It's phenomenal, cuz. I'll bring some in from Gilda down the street in Fishtown. It's phenomenal.
Oh, that's cool,
It's
man.
one of my favorite desserts. And I'm going to go, my buddies over at Iskros, shouts to the Pernas. Give me a cannoli from Iskros down on Christian, South Philly. That's my meal right there.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. I'll get you one of Termini too.
All right.
Go to Termini. All right. So I'll get you one of those. That sounds that's outrageous, dude.
Yeah. A lot of food. That's why I said a lot of food, but listen, you're not going to be disappointed.
That's good. Do you have the hot pepper? Do you like? I love heat.
For the Italian style,
I like hot. I like any kind of hot pepper.
I love any type of hot pepper.
I didn't know in your culture. Did you have a?
So it's funny because like the hot pepper, I didn't learn until hanging out with Mexicans. So that they are the ones that taught me like spice and I was like, I love this. I love this. Give me the serrano pepper, a jalapeno, poblano, whatever.
Yeah, the serranos I like. That's a tasty pepper.
My favorite is the stuff
or
long
the
hot.
Calabrian. Until I go to Calabria, the Calabrian chilies.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah. All right, VG.
Man, I do not eat enough Latin and Spanish food.
I got
Between
you,
the
VG.
Rom and this one, they sound phenomenal.
I know, right?
Yeah.
John Rahm. All right.
So, I mean, of course, I was going to go Italian, but being that I'm the self-hating Italian, I went to my roots, and I'm going bar food.
Yeah.
I got to start off with you could do some cheese curds, wings, or pretzel bites.
Cheese curds.
Oh, man.
Nah,
You don't
cheese
like
curds,
cheese
man.
curds? There's little balls deep fried.
I know. But you're not. That's not like Philadelphia.
I'm just going bar food.
I was
Philly?
covering a game in Green Bay in Wisconsin, or Milwaukee, whatever it was. And
Get your cheese curd on.
They love the cheese curds.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Have you had one?
Are you a poutine guy?
Yeah.
Poutine's great.
Poutine's phenomenal.
Oh,
Up in
yeah.
Canada, Montreal, Toronto.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, giving me static, man. We'll move on to the next course. Caesar salad or some French onion soup you can choose from.
Oh, the French onion,
Yeah,
man. That's a good onion soup.
The
That's a good
French
soup.
onion soup is a great but it's got to be good French onion. There's bad French onion.
We're not talking high end French. We're talking bar, greasy, loaded with cheese French onion.
You ever go to Ponzio's?
Yeah, I love
Ponzio's has a
Ponzio's,
good
yeah.
French onion.
Yeah.
They do.
Love Ponzio's. But like if you get the real, like it's got to be the Gruyere cheese, not mozzarella.
Yeah, see, cuz knows.
Man,
It's all about the
I don't know
Gruyere.
if O'Neill's Pub's got Gruyere cheese. So, come on. We're going main course. You can choose burgers, cheesesteak, or a primo hoagie, of course. And a dessert, I'm with my man here. A cannoli or what do we eat at the market? Pignoli cookies?
The Pignoli cookies,
Those
yeah.
pine nut
Oh,
cookies?
my wife loves it. The Pignoli
Phenomenal,
cookies
yeah.
Phenomenal.
are unbelievable. Speaking of termites, we go every year and get
Phenomenal.
the Pignoli cookies. They're like for Christmas time.
Yeah.
Like you always have them.
And of course, beer, and beer. And an Ollie Pop or two because we're going to need some fiber. Nothing's been keeping me regular like these Ollie Pops. I was doing those Metamucil crackers. Forget about it. Ollie Pops got me regular.
No bar peanuts? No bar peanuts for
Speaking
you?
of the Masters,
We can do some bar peanuts.
you're going to win the Masters with that. Speaking of the Masters, you have Masters plays.
Yeah, I'm a degenerate
Picks.
golf gambler. So what I do is I usually pick 5 golfers.
All right.
I put like $5 to win and $5 for a top 5 placement. I don't bet anyone. It's got better than 20 to 1 odds. I really like. I always like Will Zalatoris. If he stays healthy, he's a good young golfer. He's at 45 to 1 right now. I agree with Big Brad Neiman at 28 to 1. He's been on fire right
Joaquin.
now. Yeah, he's in my group. Wyndham Clark's been playing really well this year. He's at 45 to 1. Hovland's always solid. He finished 7th last year in the Masters. He's at 40 to 1.
Course kind of fits him.
Yeah, and I love Sahith Theegala. He's my favorite new young golfer. He finished 9th last year. He's at 50-1. So they're the 5 I'm going to ride.
Okay.
I bet him to win, and I bet him for a top 5.
There you go. That's fun. It gives you rooting interest for the weekend.
You got Xander and Scotty, and
No,
it's
you're
just not fun
yeah.
betting those guys. But they're ridiculous.
But it's amazing because Scheffler is like ridiculous. I mean, it's turned out to
odds
be
are like,
He's
what,
going to win.
4-1. That's ridiculous.
I think
Andrew's
Scheffler's
a big
definitely
golf. Andrew's a great. He's a great golfer.
I'm excited, man. This is like Christmas week for me, you know, the Masters.
Have you seen the pictures of the course? The water's glistening. It looks beautiful.
Stop.
Azaleas.
Yeah,
You know?
azaleas.
Forget about it. You know, that's amazing.
No, I love it. I love the majors. Like they're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a British Open fan.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one too.
Especially because like it's summer and there it's got like the cold wind.
Yeah.
Like it's, well, you're almost cools you off when you watch the
They
tournament.
always have like the voiceover about the elements. It's almost like John
Oh,
Facenda NFL films, right?
Oh, the wind is whipping.
Yes.
There was an oh my God, I remember listening to it. There was a woman, I have to get her name, I forget her name. She's unbelievable. She's an Irish golf analyst.
Okay.
And like I would just listen to her on the course, like she's on the course and she describes it. She's like, oh, a sloping through the valley, it putts.
Just painting the picture.
She's unbelievable. Like I was like, and she's got like great words. Like she's an amazing. I love listening to her. All right, so I posed you guys something to do here before we get to comments.
Wait, we're not gonna get your meal?
Yeah.
What's your meal?
No, I'll give you mine tomorrow.
Right.
I like to find out you guys.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I'm a crabs and spaghetti guy.
Oh.
So I probably would start there as my main course. I love the crabs and spaghetti. In summertime makes me think of crabs and spaghetti.
That's great.
Yeah,
I make it,
See, I like the capellini with the crab.
You're like my father. My father likes the capellini too. Too thin.
I gotcha.
Too thin. You need a thicker pasta to hold the sauce, the crab gravy.
Okay.
You want a thicker noodle. But my father loves the capellini. So he's like you.
Yeah, I like cavallini.
What do you know?
Capellini and cheese curds.
I am so hungry.
So I posed a thing for you, and then we'll get to comments. Give me your top 10 Eagles last 20 years.
All right, yeah. So I took some time. They're not in specific order, but Doc number 1, Kelsey 2, Jason Peters, Lane Johnson, John Runyon, Westbrook, Fletch, LaShawn McCoy, T.O. too soon, 1 year, 2 years.
No, I'll give it to you.
And Puke McNabb.
So you go Jason Peters high, dude.
Yeah, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think so.
I feel like I have to put B West up higher.
Yeah,
John,
Jason Peters?
like Runyon, obviously so important. One of the best free agents we ever gotten here.
Well, yeah, he was
a big staple for that offensive line for a long time. But B West had so many moments. I mean, it might just be me in that because that time period. Remember when those cleats that B West had? Every kid who played football needed those cleats. I think those were the Mike Vicks, but no, the B West had so many great memories. I feel like I would put him over the Runyon.
What about BDN? Come on, man. What about Nick Foles?
I mean, just on
Foles.
impact.
I mean, your back in the day moment right there.
You're asking
brought to you by
me.
Rite Aid.
Foles.
Get all your local goods at your neighborhood Rite Aid store.
Shout out to Ruth and Marge at my Passyunk Rite Aid. Love those ladies. Queen Village
Love
Rite
a
Aid's the
First
best.
of all, Marge. Any woman named Marge is awesome.
Oh, you don't mess with her either. No. They don't even have stuff behind glass
Yeah.
because no one messes with
Yeah.
Marge.
Yeah. And Ruth, by the way. Ruth and Marge.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ruthie's great. She's got a walking stick she walks around with.
Yeah.
Great.
Don't mess with Ruthie. So,
Big Dick. Nick is he's probably number 1 on my own list.
I
you
mean,
know?
but Foles, I go Foles over McNabb.
But I'm saying, like,
in the top
if we're
10,
looking at like
he
all-time
wins the
stats,
Super Bowl.
I cannot believe that you're all over Foles like this. I love it.
Listen, I got to call it the way I see it.
His career is like
I'm
a
not
weird
the biggest
one.
Foles. I've never been the biggest Foles, but he brought to me. He brought rapture.
Yeah.
You don't have to twist my arm to take McNabb off and put Foles on. I'm in there.
Here's something that no one ever talks
Foles
about.
over 5.
Here's something no one ever talks about. Obviously, Super Bowl, big. But you also look at the year after, he takes over for Wentz. He takes him to the divisional round. But also, 2013 was a really good year for him. 27-2.
Yeah.
The 7 touchdowns against the Raiders, which I saw that on Twitter the other day. It's just such a weird, not only because he wasn't like a starting quarterback for a long period of time, but he's had some really good moments with the Birds that you just don't forget ever.
Yep. I'm with you. Who's your top? Did you have your top 10?
I did not, but I was listening into just be West for me, and that's what I'd put up higher. Maybe Running and Peters, I would put them a little bit lower there.
Yeah, I'm good with
that. That's definitely solid. And the McNabb one's tough, man, because you look at his stats, you look at his longevity with the Birds. You obviously put him in that list, but yeah, I mean, you look at the
longevity. Problem is the longevity is not really there.
What, 99 to 2009?
But here's the thing, is he had terrific, when he was good, he was really good. When he was young, but pre-injuries, he was terrific. But after 2004, he slides down because of the injuries. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, he's washed.
It was solid. I think that the problem is that in Eagles history, we don't have Peyton Mannings, we don't have John Elways in our career.
I agree. That's
so
fair.
when you look at McNabb, unfortunately, that's why we look at BDN because he brought us a Super Bowl. He's had so many great memories.
Like Vic comes at the end, right? You got that's why I think everybody's hoping Jalen becomes the guy. Yeah,
I really hope he's that quarterback for 10 years.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, let me clarify. I wasn't making reference to or making fun of McNabb puking. It was my own regurgitation putting him on the list.
Yeah, well, listen, it is what it is. All right, give me your. Who cares? Give me your comments. What do we got?
Some comments. Well, there's a lot of speculation about what Baldy does when he travels overseas. Lots of Molly references.
Oh my God!
On the chat board
because he forgot. He forgot the moment that he fought the Bulls.
Yeah. We got K-Red again. Story. People are loving the spring wardrobe with the cost with the Masters College shirts and colors.
It looks good, man. Are great on you, cuz. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Multiple comments about your wardrobe the last couple of days. Cash Per Ghost says Sixers making a run when Cuz is back is not a coincidence, and I'm 100% behind that.
Clap your hands, Casper.
Here's one for you. I don't know if this is accurate, but I'm trusting Ed Wright. He says Flyers have 4 90-point players in the last 26 years.
Oh, no, Eddie, I trust anything Eddie says.
All right.
He knows his stuff.
All right.
That's so
Lindros
bad.
in 98.
That's horrible.
Recchi in 2000. And Giroux in 2012 and 2018.
Oh, my God.
And that is it.
Oh, my God. We've been saying forever they need a sniper. They need an offense.
How long have we been saying?
He's coming. He's coming from Russia.
Well, they got
Mitchkov.
Yes. Some lottery picks would be good to surround him with some players.
I'm with you.
Oh, man.
I'm with you. All right. Great stuff. As always, guys, you want to comment during the show, hang out soon. We're probably within a week or two. Hopefully by the start of the playoffs, we'll have phone calls and during the segment.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll do and we're going to do it like TMZ style, where you'll pop up on the screen.
Whoa, nice.
Right? Like you'll pop up on the screen like Baldy or Jim Salsbury or the Big Brain, and then we'll visit with you.
I love that. It's
right?
fun.
So
puts a little pressure. People actually got to maybe shower.
Well, no, I mean, you don't have to. Like, if you just want to go with nothing, just have your, we'll go blank screen. Just have your audio. It's fine.
Yeah, it's no fun though.
But no, you could do it. Listen, I hear you.
Yeah. Our ugly
we want to take it to like that next level.
Our ugly faces are out there. They might as well share theirs as well.
I'm feeling
Hey, shout out to JP. Are you wearing Jordans with Kelly Green on them?
I have the.
Wow, let me see those.
We got the Kelly Green Jordan 4s.
Nice.
Wow, they're awesome.
Yeah. Got a little love with the Kelly Green Phillies cap.
No, dude, that's a good look.
Yeah, those sneakers are nice.
Philly through and through.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that. This kid's a winner, man.
Yeah.
He
looks good, is
he's
good.
He's a winner, just JP, man. Let me tell you
Team
something.
JP.
All right, yeah.
Because I'm part of a winning team.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for today. Phillies today, afternoon game. So don't forget, we get the Fightins today, and then we'll come back. Tim Legler tomorrow. So leg day. Right? Do it. Leg day. Tomorrow at 10, we'll go with legs. Everybody, thanks for hanging. Make it a great day. Listen, we love you guys. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
We all city like the mayor.